Okay. When we last left off, things had happened. You guys were sort of searching the city for Ilo, but lacking any real leads, and he sort of disappearing to be off on his own. It was fortuitous that you were then invited to a party, the Masque of the Lights, sort of an annual festival of Veneias. Believing perhaps that the people who kidnapped Ilo were hired or somehow associated with one of the Sinaori, you figured it was a good bet that just by going there you might be able to pick up some clues about Ilo. You also planned to use Maw to infiltrate the manor of Vicentius Sangarial, who would be at the party while this was all happening. You'd interrogated several guys there, and along the way you met a newcomer named Dalton O'Doyle, an Inquisitor from a far-off empire, who seems to be hunting similar quarry to you, looking for a killer who he believes is one of the Sinaori. And we're actually going to pick up with Maw.
All right.
Okay. Maw, you are aboard the ship. Baji and Vasilios have just left Sylviana Lunarien to go to the Masque of Lights. You're currently in the map room with Leosin and Joshua, who have a small little map of the western wing of Sangariel's manor, and they're showing it to you.
But Ma understands. What should Ma do? Is Ma stealing anything? Is Ma just taking a peek?
Old sport, it seems Sect hired us to find whatever was in his portrait, to Sangariel's portrait room, old sport. Now, I'm not exactly sure what that means, but this is a weird city of subtlety and intrigue. I guess just find Sangariel's portrait room, see what's inside, and report back to us.
Oh, Ma can do it. Ma is strong.
Yes, as I was saying, Leosin sort of steps up and looks at the maps on the table. The western wing seems to be the best place to infiltrate the manor. It seems to be where the servants' quarters are and the kitchens. Because the Masque of Lights is going on in the city, a lot of people will be out in the streets partying. That should provide you some cover. No noise complaints from your end. Yeah, I would suggest the western wing. Get into the manor somehow. Maybe take an animal form. Find the portrait room, see what's there, and get out.
Will do, Ma. Ma can... They don't call Ma for nothing.
And old sport, there's something else. I managed to get a few guards, Sangariel guards, drunk at the dancing dagger last night.
You did not invite Ma?
No, old sport, I did not. Thing is, the private apartments of Vicentius, he and his son, the lord of the manor, old sport, they're in the eastern wing. But apparently nobody's allowed there, old sport, not even the servants. The door is locked, they say. So, old sport, I don't know if the portrait room is in that wing of the building, but I suppose it's up to you, old sport. I figured I'd let you know. The eastern wing, it's kind of locked down.
Ma's gonna put a hand on his shoulder and just go, "Thank you," and look into his eyes for an awkward amount of time.
Okay. Joshua, he sort of grabs your arm and sort of takes it off him. That's just fine, old sport. Now, if you need anything from us, we'll be sort of your guys in the chair, old sport. Ask us any questions, but besides that, you're probably the best equipped for this mission, old sport. Nobody would suspect a rat to be secretly a spy.
Well, this is true. What's the weather looking like tonight?
It's a fairly clear night. A few nights ago was thunderstorming, but that probably got all the rain out of the weather system. And again, you hear the sounds of people partying in the streets and sort of semi-parades, people carousing and drinking and laughing as sort of this festival strikes the city.
Okay. And what time is it?
Sylviana picked them up at about dusk, 6 p.m.-ish. 20 minutes past that, the sun has set. It's getting pretty dark in the city.
Okay. Ma will set out.
All right.
Do you have any tools for Ma?
No, old sport. We thought you were better equipped for this than us. But like we said, if you have any requests of us,
maybe a snack for Ma.
Joshua sort of looks at Lewis and sort of baffled. You have rations below decks.
Yep, Ma would take a ration or two. Ma might get hungry on the way.
Okay. He gestures to a windrunner standing by the door who runs off and starts grabbing some pickled herring and stuff like that.
Oh, Ma's favorite.
Okay.
All right.
And remember, this is a night of festivities. We're not sure how that's going to affect security. Could be more guards are around, could be less. But keep your eyes open.
Okay. And I am going to turn into a bat.
Okay. Sounds good.
Which is a diminutive animal. So
Okay.
I've got a fly of 30 feet. So I'm going to take that.
Okay.
I'm going to take that 30 feet fly. And I'm actually going to check something real quick.
And Ma, there's something else. Lewisin speaks up. I'm not sure if you can understand me, but I'll say this. This is a reconnaissance mission. Try not to kill people. If we pull this off right, he sort of looks to himself, looks to Joshua like, am I really talking to a bat right now? If we pull this off right, nobody will ever know we've been there. If you kill people, on the other hand, if you kill, God forbid, if you kill a nobleman, you might start a blood feud. We might have assassins coming down our throats, coming down our necks. I say it again.
Ma's just kind of just kind of be in a circle, flying around.
Of course, do what you have to do to defend yourself, but if don't go slitting throats left and right. Don't leave trails back to us.
Ma's just gonna be like in his head, is this guy really monologuing right now?
You're squeaking, so he can't understand you. Okay. I really hope he got all of that. I don't know if there's like a language barrier thing when he becomes an animal. All right. Lewisin sort of goes to one of the back windows of the ship and just props it open. I guess, go get him, Ma.
Okay, and I'm gonna jump out, and I am going to turn on my aspect of the bat, which is gonna give me 90 dark vision.
Oh shit.
90 feet of dark vision.
Okay.
And I'm gonna roll up on this place.
Okay. Yeah, after about a few minutes of flying, you make your way to the Vine Towers district. They had already told you where the manor was, and you eventually approach. You can make me a perception check as you approach.
Okay, cool. I am going to Ioun Stone this, and also I'm going to Guidance it. So that's a 15 on the die, plus... Oh, geez, what is my perception? I want to say it's 15 plus 15, so 30.
Okay. Oh, wow, okay. With a 30, you spot a few things, a few interesting things. You sort of come up on the manor, which again is this large sort of this bougie manor in the Vine Towers district, right along the canals, as a lot of these lords' manors are. You flying overhead, you do a quick scan of it. You tell immediately the western wing of the manor seems to be sort of where Joshua and Lewisin recommended you infiltrate. Seems to be sort of a light with like a warm glow. More of there's lanterns burning in the windows and that sort of thing. Whereas the eastern wing, which they seem to indicate was the private quarters of Sangariel, is mostly shaded and sort of dark. Besides that, you spot a guardhouse, sort of in the front gated section. There's a glow spilling from that too, and a guardsman seems to be relieving himself on the front stairs of it before he's wearing a mask before he goes back in apparently to join the partying.
He's relieving himself on the
front porch of the his guardhouse, which is sort of a separate building right in front of the manor.
Okay.
Besides that, you spot something interesting. There's a stable yard on the western side, and there is a man in a wagon who's sort of pulling into this stable yard, which is right next to the manor. He's seems to be an older fellow. You can sort of tell. He's got a hat on. He's got a wagon full of what looks like casks and bottles. You would probably guess a wine deliverer or a wine salesman of some kind. But he pulls his cart to a stop right beside what looks like a door into the building. And he gets off his cart, goes to the back of the wagon, and starts whistling as he takes out a box and takes out a few bottles of wine. You sort of take all this in as you make rounds around the building. What do you do?
I'm going to check out the eastern side and see if there's any windows with
Sounds
my
good.
90 feet of dark vision.
Yeah, you do. You circle around. Like I said, you sort of get close. There are windows, but they are dark, or at least you spot it with your 30 perception. You spot dim light coming from the other side of them, but curtains have been drawn on all of them.
Okay. I am going to like dive bomb one of these windows.
Okay, sounds good. Make me a strength check or maybe a CMB check. What's your intent with this?
I'm just gonna try to break through the glass.
Okay.
And just like come out the other side and just be like a bat still.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I'd say a strength check.
A strength check, cool. Okay, let me just look up diminutive stuff real quick, because this is gonna be a big check that changes a lot of stuff. So, be shape 3. And so I've got a -4 to my strength. So that's what's going on right now. So I'm going to buff myself with a +6 to my strength.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to get that -4. So I am going to be sitting at what? 18 strength, so it's going to be at a +4.
Sounds good. Roll that strength check.
That's
Alright,
a 10 on the die, +4, I guess.
Okay, with a 14, Maw, you like a German bomber during World War II, just come flying down, glide into one of the windows as hard as you can, and just whoosh, just splatter on the front of the window. You're gonna take some damage. Okay, you take 6 points of damage. It's not only do you splatter on the window, something repels you backwards. You sort of hit it, and then there's like almost a moment, and then you just feel yourself being thrown back, and there's a burst of light.
Okay, I'm going to check out and do a detect magic.
Yeah, sure. Spellcraft check, or are you casting detect magic?
Just detect magic.
Okay, if you can do that in bad form, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Casting detect magic, you immediately tell the window is magical. And sort of observing it, riding off your perception check, you notice something interesting about it. Almost like colored glass being instilled into the window. There is coralite of various different shades and colors and patterns. That seems to be they seem to have incorporated it into the glass to magically strengthen it.
Oh, okay.
And sort of noticing this and sort of observing the other windows, you can see every window in the eastern wing of the mansion seems to be magically reinforced with coralite.
All right, I'm gonna go to the westerns, or let's check out north or south, like the southern side or something.
Okay, you come back to an interesting sight. You've been gone for a few minutes. You watch as the this almost wine deliverer hefts up a giant just crate full of wine bottles, and he walks over to this wooden door on the side of the stable yard, and he just slams on it a few times, knocking. And moments later, the door opens, and a woman comes out. She's sort of a portly, old Thalassian woman with sort of gray hair, and she has a peacock mask on. She says, "Oh, have you brought the Drakefire vintage, dearie?" And this wagoner guy sort of grins and says, "I sure have, Miss Miriana. You three sure are lucky your master pays for his servants to enjoy all of these fine wines." And she sort of takes a step up to him, and sort of like, you think like gets really like seductively close to him and says, "Not as lucky as you'll be tomorrow night, dear." And the wagoner grins and he sort of says, "So we're still on for the shipsayer's lover then?" And she sort of laughs and says, "I'll be seeing you at the waterfront district. The usual time, don't be late." And the wagoner sort of tips his hat, gets back onto his wagon, still whistling, and sort of hits his the mule a few times, sort of begins dragging the wagon forward. You notice this old woman who seems to be some kind of servant watches him go. What do? The door is still open.
I'm gonna go for the door.
Okay, sounds good. Give me a stealth check as you do so.
All right. I am going to use Aspect of the Owl and give a +6 to my stealth.
Okay.
I can do this 8 times a day, so I'm just using all my stuff. So +6 to my stealth. Oh. And that's another 10 on the die. Plus 19. So 29.
29. Okay. With a 29, you raise up a bit, and then just again like a German World War II bomber, just come down and zoom through the window. Just as she's sort of turning back to close it, she sort of blinks as if she just caught the tail end of you. Then she sort of shakes her head as you fly and sort of crouch above the doorway in what looks to be a servant's hall. Sort of a small hallway. She quickly closes the door behind her, and you're within the manor. Oh
no.
She sort of giggles to herself, and walks to the left down this servant's hallway. There is a door she's heading to, but there's also a door to your right. They're both closed.
Okay. So there's just a door to my left and right.
Yep, and she's heading for the left one.
Do I know where I am, like in the building? Like, do I know?
Yeah.
Can I cast No Direction?
Yeah. What does that do?
It orients me, and I know where north, south, east, and west are.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say going off the map, Joshua and Leosin showed you.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah.
You think you're in a servant's hallway, probably between the sunroom, and the kitchen. The kitchen's off to your left, where she's heading, and the sunroom's to your right.
Okay, and I wouldn't want to go on the. I would.
We're having bat for dinner tonight.
Yeah, I don't think I want to go in the kitchen. I'm gonna go and try to go into the sunroom.
Okay. Like I said, the door's closed. She disappears down the hallway. Opens the door to the kitchen, closes it behind her. You're left alone in the hallway. You head towards the sunroom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Under the door frame.
It'd be a tight fit. You think?
I don't know.
But I think you can. After a few minutes of struggling, you make your way under the door frame of this sunroom, and find yourself in this it's a sunroom. It's filled with windows, sort of expensive-looking furniture, like a white tiled floor, and it is overlooking a garden. Just as well, there is two pairs of doors. One door seems to lead into the gardens, sort of outside, and another door leads into another hallway.
I'm gonna go to the hallway.
Okay. You struggle under another door, sort of make your way through this hallway, and make your way to the other side, and sort of struggle under another door, and you come out into a massive ballroom. A massive ballroom that's sort of overlooking the gardens in the back. I'll describe it. The ballroom is a massive tiled room with balconies all around the second floor. You immediately look up and you can tell the ceiling is made to look like a collection of stars gleaming on a night sky, with a large silver room as sort of the centerpiece of the ceiling. You can also make me a perception check.
All right, here we go. I'm still got my Ioun Stone on that, and I'm gonna guidance this, and that is a nat 20.
Okay. With a nat 20, something strikes you as you're sort of flying around in this eerily empty ballroom, which is very dark and very quiet. You spot, sort of in the moonlight coming from the gardens, at the center of the tiles on the ground, in the tiles, there is a mosaic of a mountain. After a moment, it's a mountain you recognize. It's the mountain that's on Indo-Io, where you came from. A very particular sort of curved shape. And it seems to be the centerpiece of this ballroom.
Well, I was gonna get really weirded out by that and see if, I guess he saw that there's no one else around.
No.
And I'm gonna fly up to the...
Okay, yeah, there's a few exits from this room. There's one to sort of the south that seems to lead towards the front of the manor. And there's another, there's a few on the second floor as well. Where do you go?
Whichever way is to the room I'm trying to get to.
You don't know where that is. They mapped out the western wing, but short of searching every room, well, that's probably your...
Well, I'm not in the western wing, though, am I?
You're sort of in the center now.
Oh, I am. Oh, okay.
The center of the house.
Oh.
But you, Joshua and Leosin didn't seem to know where the portrait room was. They'd only mapped out the western wing, which is what they were sort of able to see through windows with their spies and sort of through interrogations.
Yeah, I'm just trying to head towards the eastern wing. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, sounds good. Sort of adjusting yourself. You think there's a door on the second floor and a door on the ground floor of the ballroom, both which probably lead towards the eastern wing.
Okay. So I'm going to go with the one on the second floor.
Okay. You make your way, sort of struggling again under this door, through these sort of ornate hallways. You notice you have not encountered any guards so far, which sort of strikes you. But then again, it's a night of partying. But you wrap around a hallway, and eventually, struggling under one last door, come out into a room. I will describe it for you right now. The room you're in has several entrances to it. Sort of a few staircases leading off to what looks like the first floor. You're sort of on the second floor. Real quick, let me just do something. Most immediately, what strikes you as interesting about this room, as you sort of come out of this hallway, is that there is a large, imposing metal door. In, sort of as you come in, it's to your right. This looks like, imagine like the Gringotts door from the first Harry Potter movie. Just a lot of like weird swirling mechanisms. This door looks very intricate, very mechanical, and there is a single sort of gilded keyhole on one side of the door that seems to, if you have the key, unlock it. But currently, it is locked.
So I have to go find this key. I guess I will go and find like some bedroom or something and try to find this key.
Okay. Yeah, again, you sort of fly back outwards. You can sort of head back to the ballroom, or you can head away to what looks like the entry hall of the manor.
Let's go back to the ballroom.
Okay, you head back to the ballroom, and again there is a doorway leading to the sunroom, a doorway leading to what looks like a parlor, perhaps. You only like briefly sort of flew by it. A doorway south to the entry hall.
I'll go to the parlor, I guess.
Okay. You go to the parlor and you come out in a room that reminds you somewhat eerily of the game rooms in the haunted house, where the weird spirits of some kind played games for people's memories and sort of souls. But the room is empty. Again, bougie furniture, very cushioned furniture. There's sort of a warm fireplace in the corner, but it's empty. It's just a normal parlor. You can sort of smell smoke in the air from tobacco.
Writing off my perception, just like, nothing really of note in the room.
No, you think again, the lack of guards strikes you, but that's about it. There is another door in the parlor that seems to lead out into a hallway.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take that door.
Okay. You come out into a servant's hall, or you come out into a guest hallway. So like, whereas a servant's hallway is like very sort of cramped and not very great looking. Meant for servants to sort of deliver food. This hallway, it's meant for guests to walk down. Sort of reminds me almost of the infinite hallway from the haunted house. But sort of gaining your bearings. To your left, this hallway sort of runs parallel to the room you're just in. To your left, you think is the sunroom, and to your right is a room you haven't been in yet.
I'll go to the right then.
Okay. Okay. You eventually come out in a dining room with a very long sort of oaken table with that's sort of layered with candelabras and brass plates, or sort of brass-looking plates anyway. Coming out into this dining room, you hear laughter coming from a door to your left as you sort of come out into this hallway. You think, sort of, again, gaining your bearings, that's the door to the kitchen.
Okay. And there's no other really way to go but the door to the kitchen?
No, there is another door straight ahead of you.
Okay, I'll go straight ahead.
Okay. Again, wrestling yourself under that door, you come out into what can only be described as a sort of foyer, an entry hall. You immediately spot a guardsman standing in this foyer. He seems to be sort of idly just looking around. He's got the sort of the wine cup of House Singariel on a tabard over his armor, and he's got a rapier and a dagger by his side. Make me a stealth check.
All right, here we go.
Has he been opening doors as a bat?
It's been just they have wide enough gaps you can sort of get through.
I don't recall what my last stealth thing was, or my last. I think I activated my stealth thing last, so I think I'm still riding at a +6.
Okay, sounds good.
Depending on how long do you think it took for me to do all that stuff?
That was probably 15-20 minutes.
Oh, okay, then I'll have to. I'll activate another one then.
Okay.
So +6 to my. All right, and I'll roll stealth, which is at a 13. That's a 4 + 6 + 13, so 23 on stealth.
Okay, with a 23, you sort of freeze when you see the guardsman on the other side of the door, but then he sort of looks away, and you sort of just quickly hustle out from under the door, take flight, and just fly up. There's a balcony in this entry hall. To your left, as you come in, you can sort of see the doorway, the main entrance to the manor, which goes out into sort of this fenced-in front yard, this gated front yard where the guardhouse is. But there is also a room directly across from you, and a balcony above you.
I'll check out the room directly across from me.
Okay, it is a doorway that leads into a hallway. Do you follow the hallway?
I'll check out the balcony real quick and then go back.
Sounds good. Going back up to the balcony, you see a few doors leading off from this.
Jesus.
2 of them. You're now on the second floor.
Yeah. Okay. Well, do I know where these go at all?
One of the doors seems to go to the western wing, sort of above the place you just were. So the sunroom, the kitchen, the dining room were all on the first floor of the western wing. You're now on the second floor, so these rooms you next be coming across would be above that wing. Okay,
yeah, I'll do that. Let's do that.
Okay. Walking around, you are making your way under these doorways. You make your way through a few hallways, and eventually find yourself in this sort of grand hallway of the western wing. Immediately, there are several doors. You come out. There's a door to your right. Two doors sort of across from you along the walls. And far to your left, there's another door.
I'll go to the door on my right.
Okay. You make your way through into what seems to be a servant's quarters.
Okay.
Just a few little sort of rooms. You sort of come out into a main room, and there's a few sort of offshoot rooms, which a few of the doors are open, reveal beds that haven't been made, sort of like humble clothing. It seems to be whatever servants live in this manor. These seems to be their quarters.
Okay. So nothing really of note.
Nope.
Okay. So I'll leave there and I'll go to another room down the hallway, I guess.
Okay. Checking the next sort of two rooms quite quickly, you find that they are guest rooms. Sort of large, ornate, sort of postered beds. But again, looking through them, sort of riding off your earlier perception check, they don't seem to be quite filled with anything of note. They look unused.
Okay, I'll leave there. And is there anything else down that hallway?
Just one door at the far end.
I'll go to that one.
Okay. Making your way under the door, you come out into an observatory of some kind. You think you're sort of above the sunroom, but you sort of make your way under the door, sort of fly up a brief spiral staircase, and come out into an observatory. Around, you can see several instruments for observing the stars, telescopes, a few bits and pieces of sort of intricate machinery, compasses, notes and sort of star maps on the table. It seems Sangariel or his son seem to have an interest in the stars.
All right, well, I'm nothing of, interest in this room that I can find.
No, and definitely no portrait room, or really any room you could describe as a portrait room so far.
Okay, I guess I'll leave this room and...
You think you've searched about the entirety of the western wing except for the kitchens.
I guess I'll go to the kitchen.
Okay. You fly on down, again, sort of dodging the guard, to the kitchens. Immediately, again, sort of coming through the dining room, you can hear voices from within. You think the wine that that servant lady retrieved from the wagoner has been brought to the kitchens, and they seem to be, as you sort of sneak your way in, make me a stealth check.
All right. This could be it. I'm gonna activate another bat or stealth.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's a 10 on the die plus.
Oh, that's like your third 10 of the night.
Yeah, I'll take it. That's 10 plus 13 plus 6.
Jesus. 13. Okay, yeah. What was it, a 29? The 29 stealth. You, again, it's ridiculous. You're Ratatouille. You're making your way under this, you're sort of skirting your way under this door. And you come out into this, these kitchens. Immediately you can tell the smell of food's in the air. That woman who was outside, who had retrieved the wine from the wagoner, she's busy pouring a glass that's sort of giggling, this just fine glass of red wine. You see two other men sitting by a fire which is lit up. They all three of them sort of have comfortable chairs that are sitting in front of the fire. Immediately you can tell the other two men are sort of dressed as servants as well. One of them has the mask of sort of a silver stallion on, and the other has the mask of what looks to be just a sort of not quite a falcon face, but sort of just like a bird-like face. So there's three servants in this room, but they don't seem to notice you as you come in, and they're sort of giggling and laughing to themselves, all sort of happily drunk in front of this fire. You think they're just partying for the night. Then as this woman is sort of returning to the other two men, you notice something. The two men have been whispering, and the woman sort of stumbles a bit and says, "What are you talking about?" And one of the men looks at her and says, "We're just talking about the East Wing. there, Miss Miriana. We're just saying it's darn strange that Kentworth is the only one with the key to the East Wing. It's strange. I mean, who does the cleaning over there? Somebody has to. And Miss Miriana, who's this woman, stumbles a bit more and says, "Oh, Arlingtonese, don't you go complaining now. There are a few rules we follow, and we get paid 3 times as much as any other servant in the city. We do our jobs, we listen to Mr. Kentworth, and we don't go to the East Wing. Those are the only 3 rules. And we do that, and we can do whatever we want in this manner." And she sort of stumbles backwards, and then makes her way over to her chair, and sits down.
Fable NPC.
All right. So who's Wentworth or Kentworth?
Kentworth.
And,
By the way they talked about him, he doesn't seem to be in the room.
okay. Do I know who Kentworth is?
You assume it's perhaps since this is Sangariel's manor, it's not the Lord. You can probably assume he's perhaps a higher servant or perhaps a captain of the guard. If you want to make a check, you can make a knowledge nobility check.
I don't have a fucking knowledge nobility.
Okay.
What could I do? Just get best as a 10 on it? I'm not even trained in it or anything.
Yeah.
I'll roll for it. Fuck. Or why
Okay.
not? I got a 13.
Okay, with a 13, yeah, you basically assume it's either he's probably who's ever in charge of the house, the day-to-day goings-on of the house. So he's either probably a head servant or a captain of the guard. That's just your assumption.
Okay.
They begin talking some more, and then this man she was speaking to sort of gets up and says, I'm gonna go relieve myself at the privy," and he stumbles off. And then the other man looks at the woman and says, "Miri, I think he knows about us." And the woman sort of blanches and she says, "That's impossible. I've seen into his heart. Arlingtonese knows nothing about us. He might be my husband, but you are my lover." And he says, "Oh, Miri," and then they begin just embracing and making out as the last guy disappears from the room.
Yeah, this bitch gets around. God damn.
So if they're in the kitchen, there's a door. We're in the kitchen. There's a door right there, and there's a door to go outside, right?
Yeah, there's sort of a door to a servant's hallway, and then the door you sort of just came through.
Okay, I'm gonna go outside through that. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Sort of going through the servants' hallway to the outside, you catch this other servant who opens the door to the outside and sort of begins relieving himself on this side of the house.
Okay. I'm gonna turn back into my half-orc form, like trying to not do it in front of him though.
Okay. Make me a stealth check.
Well, can I like fly away and then come back?
Yeah, sure. You fly away. You sort of come out into the stable yard. Where do you go from there? Just sort of hide from him. There's a stable right there with horses in it.
Am I like allowed to be on this land?
There are people partying just beyond the gates, but nobody has entered the gates. So probably they'd raise a ruckus if they saw you.
Okay. I think I'm probably just gonna leave with it. Well, I'm not good at negotiating, so I'm gonna check out the west side. I'm not gonna, turn into my half-orc form yet. I'm gonna check out the west side and see if I can find something about Wentworth. Or
Kentworth.
Kentworth, sorry.
Okay. So what are you just scanning the outside of the manor?
Yeah, because isn't that where people are, like, hanging out?
Yeah, I mean, you looked up and down the western side, and you didn't catch any sight of any other servant.
Or people? Or, I mean, on the outside.
On the outside, nobody's walking around. Not really. It's night. Most of the people are probably out partying. And again, you didn't spot any Kentworth.
Okay. I guess I'll just leave with that name, and we can probably figure out who the heck he is and
Okay, sounds good.
steal the key from him.
Sounds good. Okay. You fly off into the night to the sounds of this servant relieving himself, and begin making your way back to the Borealis. The rest of you, we left off in the Masque of Lights. As you had just got done speaking to Leosin Tramalikiar. You had just met this new fellow named Dalton, who's hunting a killer. The only one you've yet to speak to of the 7 Sinaori is Desdemira Alabaster, who's on the far side of the party, sort of talking to people with sort of the similar color hair to her, wearing these sort of creepy ivory masks.
And Vicentius Jr. still has not shown up yet, correct?
It's been a little bit. You haven't seen Vicentius Sr. around. So Junior, he might be coming soon. You don't know.
Fuck, just a quick medic. Ahan.
Yeah.
Didn't you give Ma the Hat of Disguise?
Did I?
I want to say you gave it to somebody, but I can't remember who it was. But I feel like that could have been useful just now.
I think I told you, or at least someone, if you need it, grab it from me. But I don't think anyone grabbed it from me.
Okay.
No.
So that would have been. He could have just like thrown that guy off into the canal and put the disguise hat on.
Yeah, could have been. Okay, but the rest of you are still at the party.
Yeah, this is very on brand
Yeah.
for this party.
Lots of bouginess and people discussing things around.
Okay, so
Okay.
am I currently with Dalton and?
Yeah, you met him up with Tramalikiar. You got him to basically hire you to kill your brother.
Yeah.
And I
What do you
think
guys
we
do?
were just on our way to go see Alabaster.
Yeah.
All right. So, we want to go talk to Alabaster then.
Yes. So she's the only one left, and we haven't gotten much information from the rest of the Shinios. So what do we do if we don't get anything out of her?
Well, there is still the option of waiting for Vicentius Jr. But
There is, and I think Vasilios, given how well you hit it off with Senior, you could handle that. While Dalton, I was thinking, well, Canconi's sage once said, if you can't quite solve your problems, solve someone else's, and the answers will come to you. And, well, there just happens to be someone in a lot of danger in this very house. So,
And who is that?
well, Lord Diadale's unfortunate fiancée, Lady Kenishai, bedridden.
And do you think take Diadel is, and I'm gonna jerk my chin at Vasilios, one of his brothers? I take it.
Sorry. What?
Well, it's obvious.
I'm just gonna look at Vasilios.
well, you've already gotten the rest of the information that we're talking about. Yes, he is one of my brothers, but that is where the worry lies. If he's left her alone, I'm sure he's left some, precautions, whether it be alarms or Chiral even being in the room with her. It won't be easy to locate her, and it certainly won't be easy to fool Quinn.
Fill me in. Who's Chiral? Who's Quinn? Quinn is Diadel.
That's correct. And Chiral is another one of our friend's brothers here.
I see.
Be that as
I
it may.
take a look around. I'm just gonna take a look around and kind of spot like a balcony that I can step out to and away from everyone else. Is there?
Yeah. You step up to the second floor, and sort of take a step onto a balcony that overlooks the canal.
Yeah, I wave you two to come with me.
Okay. Yeah, we go there.
I suppose, the cat's out of the bag for the most part in this city anyway. And they see a suspicious one traveling with these folk. and my brother's already knowing who I am. Well, are you familiar with a famed sorcerer group, a family from Neos, the Velas?
Am I?
Yeah, make a knowledge and ability check.
Okay. I don't know why I'm rolling on here. Oh wow, that's a 12.
With a 12, it's on the other side of the world. You've heard bits and pieces here and there, but not much at all.
I heard the name. I don't know much about it. Veneias is a little far from where I go.
Fair enough. Well, let's just assume that this sorcerer group is filled with a bunch of sadist murderers who are trying to politically manipulate all of Thalassia.
Yes, let's just assume that.
And let's also assume that they're my family, and, well, I'm doing my best to stop them from doing that.
Well, isn't that just noble?
Vasilios is a very, very noble man.
Now, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I wouldn't exactly label myself noble. But the point is that this is a very dangerous group of individuals. And, well, with Quinn, Lord Diadel, already in this position, it makes it a little bit more difficult for us to, well, speak freely and, well, see if we can find this fiancé.
Well, you may be right, though something does scratch the back of my head. We are in such a vast manor that holds probably a large amount of secrets. We might as well take advantage of it, if we can. Maybe do some reconnaissance, if we can steal away Lady Kenishai tonight.
Well, I'll put it to you like this. I still want to speak to the ambassador. I want to have an impression of all of the Sinaori before I leave this party and go and examine those bodies.
Well then,
But if you two want to get behind the scenes, once that is done, I can, well, make a scene for you to get behind. After all, I'm a foreigner. They won't expect me to play nice.
That's the thing, though, isn't it? We're all foreigners here. I
actually think he's onto something, Baji. It shouldn't be too hard with these guests to, well, convince Quinn to get up on the stage and perform. I mean, he enjoys it, and obviously the crowd does. If you're able to distract him, at least Baji would be able to slip away. I fear it would be too obvious if I'm not watching the show with him.
Well then, if that's the case, why don't you, Vasilios, make the distraction? And you, O'Doyle, you seem to have your wits about you. What are you? You're an Inquisitor, right?
Something of the sort.
Well then, your
That's what they call me.
detection skills would be more than useful in snooping around, which I'm sure you've done your fair share of.
I'm not a bad snake.
There we go.
All right, so Baji. So it's not too obvious. Why don't we have Sylviana get my brother to perform? We'll go talk to Ambassador, and Doyle, you go and find Kenishai.
Okay.
Alright. What do I know about Kenishai?
Make me a knowledge and ability check.
I mean, I can explain a decent amount to you, I guess. If you don't.
Oh, that's a big number. 25?
Okay, yeah, with a 25, you know a bit about them. You sort of researched a bit, and in preparation for this party, you know they're the most martial of the houses, perhaps, besides Tramalikiar. You know they control a lot of like the weapon trade of Veneias and a lot of the world, or sort of the ocean sphere anyway. You know they have a rivalry with Tramalikiar. Tramalikiar wants to destroy them. They want to destroy Tramalikiar. And that was before that rivalry that came about before Tramalikiar was even raised to the 7. They were the only house that voted against Tramalikiar being raised to the 7. Besides that, they're generally seen as one of the more honorable houses, if that can be said at all, of any of them. And their tabard or their colors are generally white and blue.
Okay. I'm gonna look to Vasilios and say, your brother, this Quinn, is it possible that he is working with Tramalikiar?
Doubtful. my assumption would be that Quinn is working for himself, and, well, since Tramalikiar wants Quinn dead, and we agreed to do it, I hardly assume they're in cahoots.
Good point. Okay.
Very well. Then we'll talk to Alabaster and then put this plan into action.
But one more thing. The way you talk about her, it makes it sound like you think that Kenishai is more than simply bedridden. What's that about?
Well, as I said before, if the Veilers are sadist murderers, then, well, Quinn is the most sadist and murdery of all. He's been known to abuse his, well, mental magic to destabilize women, make them lose memories, make them catatonic, lobotomized even.
Well, Vasilios, you've made it a lot easier to kill your brother.
Well, now you understand why I was so readily available for Tramalikiar's request. To be honest, the money is really a bonus. Getting to kill Quinn is just a good time.
Well then, what are we waiting for?
I'm gonna grin a little bit at Vasilios and say, "This seems like my kind of guy." All right,
Well,
let's go talk to Alabaster.
before we break, do any of you have any weapons that I might be able to use?
That you might be able to use.
That I might be able to use?
If I'm going
Aforementioned,
anything that I might or might not have on me, I'm going to be keeping to myself.
Vasilios, that ring of yours, you have spells.
you wouldn't be able to wield this weapon. At least, not that I think. Remember when we were in Azora Quair, it seemed that the only way I was able to wield it is being an elementalist.
Okay, that's fine. I have my own precautions, and I'm just going to tap my pouch of Ebrium near my coin pouch.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. Okay.
O'Doyle, now, like I said, if you're going sneaking about, well, there's another one. Quinn mentioned my other brother, a sneaky one.
This Chiral.
Yes. He might be, well, wandering around. He might even be watching the woman. A formidable opponent, and you probably won't see him coming.
I'll keep an eye out. He's not the first thing that's tried to ambush me.
If you get him in a one-on-one, I'm sure you might be able to stand a chance, but an ambush, now that's scary.
Like I said, I'll keep my wits about me. This is, well, something I'm good at.
Okay. So what's the plan, fellas?
Alright, it's time to go talk to Alabaster.
Alabaster.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
You said they were wearing ivory masks?
Yes, you go to that side of the room, and you sort of see them wearing a lot of white, ivory masks. Their hair is somewhat pale, almost like pale like Lunarien's hair is pale. Approaching, you can immediately tell there's a sort of I don't want to say plump, but older woman, probably in her 40s, standing there. She's surrounded by very tall young men who all have the same color hair as her, and they're very young, like teens and 20s. Oh, hello. This woman who seems to be the matriarch looks up upon your approach. You can immediately tell she eyes all of you somewhat hungrily.
Hungrily?
Yeah, with a bit of lust in her eyes. It seems everybody in this city has met you but me.
Ah, Lady Alabaster.
She just idly holds out her hand for you to kiss.
I take it and I kiss it. I see your sense of style, as they say, is quite astounding.
Maybe a diplomacy check.
Can I assist him on this? And how unfortunate that is, Madam Alabaster. And I kiss her hand as well.
Okay, yeah.
It's a
20 for me.
It's a 23. I think.
Okay, that's a 25 total with Vasilios' assist.
Oh, thank you so much, dearie. Oh, and might I say, you're both looking delicious this evening, too.
She just like again that sort of just lustful gaze she brings over you.
These are my sons.
And she points to all of her sons surrounding you.
I saw you talking to that Leosin Tramalikiar over there. Oh, darling. He's such a stick in the mud. I used to think he was quite handsome. But he has no imagination, that one. And he also tried to kill my son. Come here, Thalassia. And you just, her son just like takes off a bit of his attire. You just see a long scar going up his neck. Yes, that Tramalikiar.
My, you must have been beside yourself in anguish and fear.
Oh, yes, darling, I was. My sons, there's nothing dearer to me in the world than them. That Tramalikiar has earned my ire.
Speak again, Dalton, I can't hear that.
Can I roll a sense motive on this woman?
Yes, you can.
I like this. I like
That's
this
an
one.
18.
With an 18, what are you trying to glean from her?
Whether this is an act or if she's really all that devastated.
You think it's a bit of both. There is a bit of almost passion when she talks about her sons, but on the other hand, this sounds like airs of some kind. She's putting on airs.
Well, my lady, we have had our own issues with Tramalikiar, and I'm sure the entire city has. You have my condolences. I wish your family great safety in the future.
Thank you, darling. Though I must say, that Tramalikiar, he's new blood, you understand. My family has been members, seats of the Sinaori for several hundred years, but that Tramalikiar, such an upstart little family. They were only raised
quite
when...
plain to see that... Sorry, my lady. It is quite plain to see that your family is old noble blood. Why, your sense of style radiates it. Tell me, how was it your stroke of genius that came up with the idea to wear ivory masks when your names are alabaster?